Destroyed, desperate, and on the brink of famine. This is the impact of 3 years of war. The city of Sada was once known as the fruit basket of Yemen for its food production. This is what a marketplace looks like now. Heavy bombing has left it only used by stray dogs. The area is under Houthi control on the border with Saudi Arabia, and so has been severely affected. This shack is being used as a temporary health centre. Here, 11-month-old Nasser is treated with a fortified peanut-based food. The World Food Programme estimates 4 out of 10 children under 5 in Yemen are now acutely malnourished. Adil Abdullah and his family fled the fighting, leaving their home and selling everything they owned. They've ended up living in these tents, surrounded by rubbish, and have resorted to begging in order to survive.
كل ساعة خليك تجي مخرج، كل ساعة وزعت متزعة، كل ساعة المهم أشوف الطائرة. خوف يا أخي خوف. والله ما أكذب عليك. ما تقول لي. كيف الواحد كيف ما نشي السلام والأمان.
But the prospect of peace is a distant one. With the UN's repeated attempts to broker it having failed, Yemen's war seems increasingly entrenched. On one side, the Houthi rebels, trying to keep control of key parts of the country. On the other, pro-government militias backed by the Saudi-led coalition. In recent days, they've intensified their advance to try and take the port city of Hodeidah.
والآن هم مستعدون لاقتحام الحديدة والقوات ما زالت في توافد شديد وأخواننا مستعدين للتعزيز في أي وقت والألوية منتظرة كل واحد منتظر دوره بفارغ الصبر ولله الحمد وهذا بسبب توفيق من الله وإن شاء الله غدا أو بعد غدا تسمعون أخبار طيبة عن الحديدة بإذن الله سوف نسحقهم كما تسحق الضر بإذن الله.
The city has become militarized, with half the population having fled. Those that remain are bracing themselves. Controlling Hodeidah is key. The port is the main entry for food supplies. This is wheat coming in from Australia. But the fear is the escalation in fighting could force a shutdown, causing further devastation in a country already dealing with the world's largest hunger crisis. Some 22 million people in Yemen need humanitarian assistance. Many of the displaced have no way of surviving without aid handouts from the World Food Programme. Fears too over disease. Saudi airstrikes have damaged water sanitation facilities, leading to an outbreak of cholera. At this medical camp in Sana'a, they're slowly recovering. But the UN believes Yemen could be one airstrike away from an unstoppable epidemic.
Fatima Manji reporting. Earlier I spoke to Stephen Anderson, director of the UN's food programme in Yemen. I began asking him what makes the situation now quite so critical.
There has been a concerted attempt to actually capture Hodeidah by the Saudi-led coalition. And this has provoked a massive displacement of people, well over 300,000 people, potentially engulfing the port of Hodeidah, which is a critical lifeline for northwestern Yemen, where most of the Yemeni population actually lives.
And I gather one of the very big threats is cholera.
We had the world's worst outbreak in modern time last year, with over 1 million people infected. And of course, the population is already in a highly weakened state due to hunger in Yemen.
But clearly the UN have begged the Saudis and others to stop. But is there any sign of any kind of local negotiation? Is anybody talking to anybody?
The UN Special Envoy, Martin Griffiths, has been shuttling between different cities and the parties, both in Yemen, both in the region, also further abroad. He's pushing as hard as he can. He has a lot of support from the international community.
You say a lot of support from the international community, but as far as we can divine, We don't yet know for certain that the British, for example, are not still providing the Saudis with bombs. International community must surely mean that everybody who has anything to do with this conflict has got to pull back.
Getting all the players to at least to halt the current situation as it's unfolding in Hodeidah is a must from our perspective. Yemen is somehow, as a conflict, it's somehow a forgotten conflict. It's not getting the kind of attention that this kind of a humanitarian crisis, this type of conflict really deserves. What we're seeing day in and day out in the field, more is needed, clearly.